Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And it is amazing to be here. It is great to be in front of everybody today. I'm always excited to show up on Saturday morning. This is my favorite time of the week. There's nowhere else I'd rather be than right here with everybody in this room. And I want to take this moment just to share with you guys a little bit about how amazing it is to have an environment like this. What Shaq and Samir have created here for us, it's unmatched. Honestly, when you get into business, you want to be able to surround yourself in an environment where other people are learning, getting better, and growing. And not only that, they're teaching you and helping you grow. Businesses hire consultants to come in and try to improve their business. Here you have Shaq and Samir. You can go to them, ask questions. Hey, what can I do to get better? What can I do to take the next step, get to the next level? So you gotta value this environment. I think the environment is probably the most important thing. And another thing is that it's also like the foundation of all self-improvement. When we talk about self-improvement, one of the foundation is the environment. Who you surround yourself with is very important. And I think that in the sense where like an opportunity that we have here, every Saturday to come to this office, to come to the meeting is very special. What I learned a long time ago, but it took me a while to change, was who I choose to surround myself with. If I choose to surround myself with a bunch of people that's gonna get in trouble, I'm getting in trouble, right? If I choose to surround myself with a bunch of people who complain all the time, who have low energy, I'm gonna start complaining, right? If I choose to surround myself with a bunch of entrepreneurs, I'm gonna inspire to be an entrepreneur. So at the end of the day, the choice has always been mine, right? It's just who we choose to surround ourselves with is going to make a huge impact on who we're going to become, how much money we're going to make, what kind of lifestyle we're going to live, and what kind of family we're going to build. And another thing that really, really sat with me and helped me just push through a lot of things in this business is that business and life have cycles. This up and this down. If anybody gets into business and they think I'm just gonna make it to the top, they're really fooling themselves. So understanding that business have up and down is gonna help you emotionally kind of be in control, because you don't want to make rational decisions when things are down, and you definitely don't want to make decisions when you're really, really happy either. Because in either spectrum, you can make bad decisions. I want to take you down on a journey, right? Because I think that everybody who gets started working with America, a lot of us, we come in here very, very raw. We don't have any business experience. We probably never started a business before. We probably never built a business before. But we have ambition. We have aspiration. We want to have a big business. We want to, make $1 million a year. We want to be the go-to person that our family look up to one day. So we have all these goals and dreams that we want to have, and then we walk into an office, and then you sat through Shaq's phenomenal presentation, and you come out of it, and you're like, man, I can do this, right? And you're like, you hire me, you say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to change my life, and you go and you face negativity. Eventually, it's going to happen, right? And when you face that negativity, now you're going to get setback, and you start thinking, maybe this is not for me. But you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be an independent thinker. I'm going to figure this out by myself. And you show up to a training. You show up to a Saturday morning, and you sat down with your trainer, and your trainer then do a bliss. They set up an appointment for you. You set up some appointment, you get excited. Maybe you set up an appointment with your coworker, right? But 2 hours later, your coworker call you back and say, hey man, my wife said this is no go. This sounds like a scam. We're not doing it. Now you're discouraged again, right? But you got to replug yourself back into your training. Right? This is the decision we are going to make when we first started. If you go back to your trainer, you talk to your trainer, they're going to encourage you. They're your consultant. They're the one that's going to help you get better. They're going to encourage you. They're going to work with you and set up more appointments. And you go on an appointment and you see how we do the thing that we do for people, right? For family. You help somebody who is completely completely out of debt, who is in a terrible policy, they save money, they're on path to retire, and now you get excited about the business all over again. Right? You get trained, you get licensed, you become a soloist, and you go out there and you get beat up by yourself, because your trainer's not there with you anymore. So in business, this is constantly going to happen, guys. You're going to go up, you're going to go down. The key point is whenever you're at a low in your business, just understand, go talk to your trainer, right? Because they're going to guide you to the next step. when you first start few training people, let's say you're licensed, you become a great soldier, then you're gonna start few training people, you're gonna get beat up because now you're sitting in a different market, right? So at every step of the way, you will get beat up. At every step of the way, continue to go after your trainer. And as we continue to grow, as we continue to get better, and this is how, you know, we get to where we are. You know, it's a long journey, but you know what? At the end of the day, you're going to be able to make a great impact for a lot of people around you. And there's no business opportunity like this business opportunity, guys. That's for sure. With that being said, I want to pass the ball over to my beautiful wife, Tia Tran.
Good morning, guys. So like Peter said, I love spending Saturday with you guys, but I especially love Super Saturday. I think sometimes when we sit back, we're really hard on ourselves because we think we can do better, right? But then you come into an environment like this where you're getting both challenged and encouraged, which is something that's pivotal to our growth here. I actually read somewhere that said if you're a perfectionist, which is what I am, right? You always want to be at 100%. But a key here is actually to do things where you're at 70%. Right, so you know this goes a lot with our business. Like, so you don't need 100% on your state exam. You just need a 70%. You're still going to get the same license. Same goes with going on appointments. You don't need to know 100% of our products, 100% of every scenario. You just need 70%, and you're going to learn the other 30% while on the field. And just like life, just in business, you're going to fail. You're going to get better, but that's how you learn. So last month, I'm really proud of our team who went out there and failed and got better, failed and got better, and got results along the way. These are the people who were actually plugged into the business, meaning they were actually on appointments. All right, so this is big. All right, so of course, our team, we did 16 by 29,000, close to 30,000. Hopefully, with some CODs, we're gonna hit it. We personally did got five teammates. We did 94,000 of personal production. We had High, who had a breakout month. He's just on a high right now, the good kind. Him and his team did 5 by 12,000. Of course, he had an amazing player on his team, Ron. Ron is incredible. He's a licensed agent. He did 7,900. I remember I talked to Ron in February, and his goal was 5,000. And some appointments fell through on month end, which they usually do. And he felt just a little bit close. And he said, you know what? My goal for March was 10,000, but let me try to hit 5,000 first. And I remember talking to him, and I was like, why would you go back on your goal when it was 10,000 to begin with? You have appointments that fell off in February, and they're going to be moved into March, so you should do 10,000. So just having that conversation, he's like, yeah, I can do 10,000. He texted me on month end, and he was pissed off that he didn't reach 10,000 in premium. But I was like, dude, you hit your goal of 5,000 anyway, because you were striving for bigger and better. We also had Marquia and Frank on High's team. They are in licensing class right now, but if you guys get a chance to meet them, they are incredible people. They're really excited, which is what excites me the most. It's new people that just have this excitement and enthusiasm. I read somewhere where they said the most powerful tool you can have is your excitement. It's your energy, because that's something that most people don't have. That's something that life and the job really beats out of people. So they want to be around people who are excited. They want to learn from the people who are excited. So if you're just excited, you're just talking about your business to anybody and everyone, they're going to want to know what you're excited about, and they want some of that. Right? Just like how money is a currency, they want your money, right? But they also want your excitement. Right? And then also, Willa and Jeff did amazing as well. They got one recruit that did over 7,000 of premium. We went to dinner with Jeff last month for his birthday, and they were talking about how they were talking to their coworkers, their friends, just literally everybody that comes along their path, and that was like music to my ears, because that really means that you believe in what we do and you're passionate in what we do. And then of course Anne, she came through with 5 recruits, personal. Last month, she's doing amazing, always comes through with the recruits. I know last month she was on a lot of appointments herself. She submitted some CODs, and I always tell her, you're planting a lot of seeds right now. And this is something I told High last month. If you're planting a lot of seeds, they are going to grow, right? So I'm excited to see what you're going to do this month as well. I guess I just wanted to go over these numbers. Like, one thing I noticed when looking at these names is all of these people, they just talk about business everywhere. Right? Ron was getting a pedicure. He's talking to the person that doesn't speak. Right? Somebody was mowing his lawn. He's talking to that person. Both of them signed up, actually. right? Willa talks to everybody. We're going to eat, and she's talking to the waitress. She's talking to people at work, right? So they're just so excited. Another thing I noticed was that half of these people are warm market, and half of these people were cold market. Now, I know Hai mentioned he knew Frank from NGM 3 years ago, but at one point Frank was a cold market to him, right? Because he's been in this business for about 5 years now. So, you know, I know we all want to be in the warm market. That's where we want to go, but sometimes we need to build that warm market. You know, everyone, well, mostly everyone that was warm to you, eventually at one point was cold, right? And you spend that time, you spend that energy to turn that person into a friend, into becoming warm. So, you know, we want to do that while we're in the business. We want to continue to build warm market friends, but we want to do it as fast as possible. Because although half of these people were cold to me, now these are some of the best and closest friends to me. And I really want them to be successful. I want them to do really great things in the business so they can change their lives and their families' lives. And I think that's what's beautiful about our business is you don't have to build it by yourself, right? You can build it with a partner. You can build it with a team. And I'm excited for us all to build a team and have a really great next month. Hopefully that gave you some insight of what we did last month. Thank you, guys.